Hello YouTuber and Viewmaster friend, 3D and retro enthusiast. We are very happy that you are here. Please keep your stereo viewer and the Viewmaster 3D reel set ready, which we show here in our video. Even if you don't have this 3D picture set yet, maybe you can just listen to our spoken text and imagine the motifs in your own fantasy world. Now listen to the following audio video while you take your time looking at the 3D images and switching accordingly frame by frame. This is the 3D Viewmaster Showtime Korg 70,000 BC, an ABC television series and a Hanna-Barbera Productions. Viewmaster Reel 1. Picture 1. Korg, Bock and Tane had to hunt for their food. If they didn't find it, Korg's family would have to move on to a different hunting ground. The three cavemen were cautiously tracking a wild boar when they spotted a stranger, and they had learned the hard way that any stranger had to be treated as a possible enemy. Picture 2. The stranger, a young boy about 13 years old, knew that too. So, when he realized that he had been seen, he took off, running as fast as he could through the vines and low branches in which he'd been hiding. Unfortunately, however, the youngster tripped and fell. His head hit a rock and he was knocked unconscious. Picture 3. Finding the boy a short time later, Korg bent over him, listened to his heart beat and announced, "He lives." "What'll we do with him?" Tane asked. "If we leave him here, he will surely be attacked by an animal," Korg replied. "Though he's not of our family, we will take him to the cave. The women can look after him. Then we'll continue the hunt." Picture 4. The boy began to regain his senses about 2 hours later. Seeing this, Thor motioned the other members of Korg's family to his side. "He moves," he said. The boy slowly opened his eyes, looked up at the surrounding group and reacted fearfully. "Do not be afraid," Korg told him reassuringly. "We won't hurt you." Picture 5. "Who are you?" Bock asked. "Why were you alone when we found you?" The boy just looked from face to face, his own face still reflecting fear. "He is afraid to talk," said Mara. Ree looked at him curiously and then ventured a guess. "Maybe he can't talk." The boy slowly rose to his feet, picked up a nearby twig and began to draw a circle on the dirt floor. "He's trying to tell us something," Mara said. The boy nodded, then drew a picture of a quarter moon with his talking stick. "Maybe his name is Moon," Ree said. Picture 6. Again, the boy nodded. "Yes, his name was Moon." "Where are you from?" Thor asked. "Show us with the talking stick." After he'd smoothed out the dirt, Moon began to draw the outline of 3 mountains on the floor. Thor caught on immediately. "Look, Ree," he exclaimed. "Moon has just shown us that he comes from beyond the 3rd mountain." Finding another twig on the floor, Ree tried to make it talk too. "If Moon can do it, She insisted, so can I. Picture 7. The men, meanwhile, had returned to the hunt. They had lost the boar, but they were on the trail of bigger game, a huge horned rhino. And as Bock continued to remind them, they needed a big kill because they had an extra mouth to feed. Viewmaster Reel 2. Picture 1. The terrain they travelled, however, was rock hard. There had been no rain for months, and Korg's hunters soon lost the big rhino's tracks. Returning to the cave, they found that Moon was catching a white water on the ground. He pointed to the east, and then, using his twig, he drew another talking picture. Moon was trying to tell them that game was plentiful on the far side of the river. Picture 2. Then, outside the entrance to their cave, the men met another stranger. It was Moon's father. He had come a long way, and, finding his son still alive, he said he would take him home. "I'll make a hunter of him," he declared. In times like these, as you know, my friends, one learns to hunt if he wants to survive. Picture 3. The sun had come up and gone down 10 times since the boy had left, and the men had not yet made a kill. Korg's family had been forced to eat berries to stay alive. I wonder, Korg thought aloud, if there really is a great river to the east, as Moon tried to tell us. Then, noticing that the others were listening, he added, "If there is, do you suppose there are really any animals on the far side of the stream?" "I don't know," Bock said, scratching his beard. "We could at least look for it. What have we got to lose? We're slowly starving to death here." Picture 4. It was finally settled by voice vote. The family moved on, hoping to find greener pastures. After a 4-day trip, they reached the banks of the great river. Looking wistfully at the verdant shore beyond the stream, Mara sighed. "It is as Moon promised, but how do we get to the far side of the white water?" Picture 5. Spotting a small deer in the woods, Korg jumped to his feet and started to chase it. In his excitement, however, he followed the little animal right into the deep water. But he had never been in any water but shallow streams. He couldn't swim, of course, and he might have drowned if the others had not come to his rescue. Later, as he and the men dried off by the fire, the women served a meal of cooked roots. Picture 6. The deer, in the meantime, had disappeared in the jungle on the other side of the river. Seeing this, the cavemen beat the ground with their fists and wondered again how they'd get across the big water. It was then that they noticed a bird floating downstream on a log. Korg studied the bird for a minute and put the pieces of the puzzle into place. "The bird has shown us the way," he said proudly. "He rides upon the water on a tree. Why can't we do it too?" Picture 7. The men ran into the forest to find a fallen tree. Finding one in short order, they dragged it back to the river bank, where they confidently pushed it into the water. "It'll work," they said. Cue Master Reel 3. Picture 1. Korg's idea worked. But, as you see here, you can overdo a good thing. When everyone else tried to get on board with him, the log began to sink. Picture 2. Luckily, the water was not too deep at that point, and the cavemen were able to scramble safely back to shore. Korg was puzzled. The lone bird had floated easily on the water. A much bigger log had sunk when he and Bog and Tane had tried to ride it. Perhaps he could ride it alone, but that was no answer to the problem. The whole family had to get to the other shore, where game was plentiful. He turned away from the river, saying, "We must build a shelter here." Picture 3. As Korg watched the family building a shelter the next day, he saw that Bog and Tane carried their load of twigs between two spears. "Perhaps this is the way to do it," he thought. Then, turning to his apprehensive wife, he assured her that they would find a way to get across the river. "Have faith, woman," he told her. "We are going to make it yet." Picture 4. Remembering the manner in which Bog and Tane had brought the twigs into camp, Korg slowly developed a picture in his mind. If one log would not carry the whole family, maybe 3 or 4 would. They could tie them together with vines, as they had when they built the shelter. His scheme now fully formed, the old man ordered Bog and Tane to search the woods for additional timber. Before long, they had enough to build a makeshift raft. Picture 5. When the raft was finished, the men strained to get it into the water. It seemed seaworthy. Then, one by one, they all climbed aboard. It was a success. Picture 6. The cave dwellers had accidentally discovered fire during a thunderstorm. Fire, they knew, would keep them warm on cold days, and it kept the animals away. But they hadn't learned to make one from scratch. So, whenever they moved, they took fire along. Now, as they prepared to make their river crossing, Korg handed Thor the remaining embers of the fire. The handful of live coals would be a starter for the fire they would build on the opposite side of the wide water. Picture 7. With everyone and all their meager possessions now safely aboard, the men pushed against the muddy bottom with their poles. The promised land was close at hand. The Korg family had won another round in the continuing fight for survival. Soon their bellies would be filled, their bodies rested, and they'd be ready again to face the challenge of living 70,000 years before Christ was born. We want to add new videos every day, and if you don't want to miss any of them, subscribe to our channel for free.
And press the little bell. We are also happy to have a thumb up.
We want to add new videos every day, and if you don't want to miss any of them, subscribe to our channel for free.
And press the little bell. We are also happy to have a thumb up.